Welcome back to the Future Leaders Podcast. We help you gain insights into the minds of successful business owners. Today I'm joined here with an absolute rock star who's spoken to over 350,000 people over 23 countries. The founder of the A-Player Brains, Rosco Paddison. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here, guys.
Mate, it's a pleasure. So talk to me. We love to start off our podcast with this. What is your biggest achievement?
It's an interesting kind of thing because, like, as someone who's, like, I've had a professional bio that I've had to, like, rewrite over the years, you know, and you look at all the, like, measurable specific things and you're like, oh, that's cool, I did this thing, and it's a meaningful number or whatever. But I would actually say the biggest thing is just, like, skills acquisition. Like, I am prolific and dangerous when it comes to acquiring skills. Like, I can do things that one sort of like consulting mind shouldn't be able to do, that ranges from quantitative analysis to coding to, you know, marketing to, like, just like a very broad range. And I think that, like, I mean, I literally think of life as a little bit of a video game. And, you know, if life was like GTA Life, it was the life, right? If it was GTA Life, what am I doing? You know, I'm like upgrading my car, upgrading my skills, upgrading, like, unlocking missions. Like, to me, that's kind of like, I guess my greatest achievement is actually viewing it like that and feeling like that's how I'm orienting myself to my life. I'm just like, this is just a game. Let's play. Let's go.
So what skills have you maxed out then?
I wouldn't say I've maxed out any. I actually think in the law of diminishing returns is real. Like, why get better than, like, if you are better than 80% of people, it's good enough. Move on to the next skill. Get that one up to 80. Like, I don't actually want to be the best at anything, but I think what makes an A player is someone who can, like, go deep when they need to and go wide when they must, you know? And most people can't go wide because they've been taught to go deep. Like, all of the world is like, go deep, converge, go close, like, go more narrow into one thing. And I'm like, no, know when to not go deep is as important, you know? Yeah.
Learning how to pick your battles
Learning how to pick your battles, your weapons, like power-ups, like like the whole, kit and caboodle for sure. Yeah. I mean, as far as, like, achievements go and stuff like that, like, I've done a lot of time on stage. I've done a lot of time in boardrooms, in meetings, in deep creative work sprints, like, you know, done a lot of time at the bleeding edge of technology. Had, like, a crypto startup with 28 staff in Vietnam. We raised several $million US and built a team and did all of that. Like, done so many sort of, like, first player versions of entrepreneurship, you know, starting back in the day, like, when I was a teenager, I had, like, my lawn mowing business, you know, like, actually my first business is the funniest story ever. A total accident. I was going out to the front, like, I lived on Terranora Road down south, down Benora Point, Terranora. And I was like, got a box out and I was picking up some mangoes because I just wanted to have some mangoes. Anyway, totally neurodivergent. So I don't know if I didn't see a squirrel because I was in Australia, but something got my attention and I walked away and I left the box of mangoes on the side of the road. Came back, the mangoes were gone and there was money sitting in the box. I was like, what?
I just want to eat a mango. What is this money? Now I'm going to go buy one?
Yeah. And then the lawn mowing business literally started because the neighbor went past and I'm like, I'm a bit, whatever the spices are on the neuro spice rack, I'm them. The neighbor walked past and he's like, I was mowing the lawn for Dad. And he's like, oh, when you're done, you coming to do mine? And I didn't know he was joking. So I went and mowed his lawn without talking to him. And then I'm like, lawn's done. And he's like, oh, better get some money then. It's like, what the heck? But I love that because that's, like, literally, I think one of my greatest achievements is like being dumb enough to do things when I'm not ready to do them. Yeah. Like just just doing it because it's there, like, yeah.
You can't get overwhelmed if you're oblivious.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. Like now with how much I know, you should see like I know a lot of your audience is like trying to figure out where their life is going. And let me just say this. You'll have a midlife crisis right after you figure that out. Like that comes next. So you're always going to be in that inquiry, really. You're always going to be in that inquiry. So I think maximizing how much fun you can have, maximizing how much skills you have to handle the dissonance of being on planet Earth, especially this time. Like it's crazy the amount of stuff you can build right now, like from a laptop or even a phone. Like as soon it won't even be a laptop and a phone. You'll just speak to the couch and an app will be made. Like we live in a crazy ass time. Like it's a really fun time to be alive. So for me, like, yeah, I think it's going to get more psychedelic, more trippy, not less. The idea of figuring out what you're going to do with your life.
What are you most excited for in the next 12 months?
I am deep in the AI tools, enjoying it spectacularly. I'm like, so out the front, I'm working with clients and building like A-player brains and hooking them together. And we're doing the work of like one installation I just did was for a community that's got 4,000 people in it. They spent on average 20 hours doing like creative building for their businesses. The little set of brains we built meant that they could do that 20 hours of work in like 2 hours. And that's 4,500 people. Like that's a lot of time. So I love that because it's like, I feel the impact of like, you just made thousands of people's lives like get 10, 15, 18 hours a week back. Like that's a big deal to me. So I like that impact side of it, and that's just going to keep going exponentially. But internally, total nerd right now. I have an app that I'm building. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm just like, it's like a simple app I want to play. I'm going to build it for internal use. And I may or may not put it out in the world. I don't know. I'm going to at least give it to my clients. And then the second thing is I'm building so A-Player Brains was like layer one. It's the communication layer. And I've been in the orchestration layer, like gone deeper and been doing a lot of automations and things like that. But like I'll tell you a little thing that I built the other week, just a play toy. But basically I built like a Slack, which basically the only human in the Slack is me. And I built a whole bunch of A-Player Brains, which are the other team members, and they're all having like their meeting in like a text-based format. And I'll interject and go like, no guys, you're off track here. Like go that way, and so like I've just been playing with what does it look like to orchestrate a company. Like I believe that, we will see that one person billion-dollar company inside the next 5 years. We'll see a one-person trillion-dollar company inside our lifetime. It's definitely inside your lifetimes in the decades ahead. But to me, I think it won't be a one-person organization. It'll be a one person with 10,000 A-Player Brains. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll still be the same scale that we have right now. Like it's going to be really fascinating. So yeah, that orchestration coordination thing is where I'm like most excited and buzzed by, because the keys to success for me are this: is you find where the inertia is, the drag, the bottleneck. You find where that is, wherever the thing is that's not moving that you want it to move, and that problem has it has an inherent solution inside of it. And then once you get rid of that problem, it opens up the field, and you can go to the next problem and the next. And to me, the only thing that slows you down from solving more of those bottlenecks is the ability to coordinate your resources, your time, your energy, your intellect, your IP, like to coordinate all of those things towards your objective. And that's it. It's all coordination. It's all coordination, which is like leadership at its core, Yeah. Good chat. Yeah, I'm excited about the next 12 months. To answer your question.
This is really cool because we're actually going through at the moment of figuring out how to coordinate, because we've worked out that coordination is just not our strong suit. We just love getting in, solving the problem, and building it. implementing it straight away. So how can we just take the time and actually coordinate where we're going to go and how it's going to work to then ultimately make that whole lot faster. Just for those at home, can you just touch on what is an A player brain? Just elaborate on that a little bit more, and then maybe give an example of your most recent or your favorite one that you've built so far.
Yeah, so an A player brain is essentially a super fancy prompt, right? Like if we call it something very binary, but like how most people prompt, it looks like, it looks very, like a prescription. It's like I want this and this with a bit of this and that and whatever. Whereas an A player brain is more like a mental exoskeleton. Like an exoskeleton, if your legs didn't work, you'd put a robot frame around your legs and get your legs to work. Well, an A player brain is kind of like that. What it does is it's oriented to help you, the human, be the A player through the process and to do the steps. And the A player brain's actually extracting the information from you, not you from it. And it turns it on its head. So it gives you the power up and pulls forward the best out of you versus just like bashing out AI slop. Yeah. So it's a little bit abstract and metaphorical, but basically what it looks like is it has 5 parts. It's got a really clear role. So a role is like not you're going to act as a copywriter. It's like 2-3 paragraphs of explicit and specific oriented language as to explicitly the role. And also in that role includes coaching the human who's interacting with the A player brain. And then it's the process, like what's the gates you're going to go through to achieve the objective. And then there's what I call expert mode, which is like, how are we going to orient the AI to keep the human at the other end of this AI on track? It's basically the Ritalin in the formula. It's the dexamphetamines. It's like, keep this person on rails, like keep them on track. And that's ADD medication for people who don't know. And then guardrails is the next section. So guardrails is like, yeah, you don't go here, Simba. Like over that cliff, don't go there. And the final one is output. What's the output? Like, is it just conversation or is there an artifact or what comes out the other end, But yeah, like a prompt for me right now, I was in the confines of ChatGPT for a long time, but I've moved. It's not my primary driver anymore. My primary driver is Claude. Claude is just exceptional at the moment. I use Gemini a lot. Gemini's actually become stronger at coding, so I'm using Gemini for coding, but Claude is my primary driver for business strategy and documentation and stuff like that. But yeah, A player brains, it's essentially just like it's like a 3-page document for a single prompt, and it's not designed for the AI to be great. It's designed to get the AI to get the human to be great so that the AI can be better. Like it's really kind of managing that relationship.
So when everybody's trying to keep the AI on track, really should be getting the AI to keep the human on track. Yeah,
I think, a lot of people are going to treat AI like they're the slave driver and they're just driving a slave, and it's going to be a master-slave dynamic. And I don't think that that's the most useful way to coordinate. Like, that's not how I like to lead. I'm not like a dictator in my leadership style. I'm like, okay, let's get you to the best capacity, get you to the best of your capacity. All right, all of us at our best capacity gets the best outcome. And a lot of products are going to be designed for master-slave because they know how lazy people are. But the best products will be like everyone at A player level. Like they're going to be the best products. But that, I actually think the consequence of this is scary. This is my little like scary future, like dystopian thing. I actually don't think the wealth divide's a problem. I don't think that's going to be the problem. I think the real problem is going to be the intellect divide. Like I think we're going to see people who use AI to make them smarter and people who use AI to not have to worry about being smart. And the gap between those two people is going to grow.
Well, that's really interesting. That's really good.
Yeah. That scares me because I'm like, like I got kids and I'm like, oh, you'll want to be smart. You will want to be lazy. Oh shit. Yeah.
Because that's interesting in the attitude towards the AIs itself. So for me, I use AI as a bridge of information right now for me to get my skills up to that level. so then I can go ahead and do it at that high capacity.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
for
like
a lot
like
of people, when I'm having
instant intermediate mode, you
Exactly,
know, like
yeah.
yeah.
so you've got a somewhat speed to competency,
Yep.
but
Which
there's
I love.
so many people that I have a conversation with, and the way that they're communicating to it is, oh, it's just going to do it for me.
And it will. The master
Yeah.
slave product will be built. They are
Like-
right. But what that will do to them is the same as brain rot from, you know, like having the wrong thing in your feed. Like it's they're right, that product will exist. And so this is what I find difficult in these transient times, is that we have people, like, it's about responsibility. Ultimately, it's about responsibility. And people love to abdicate responsibility. People are very good at blaming things, very good at excuses, very good at shaming themselves into, oh, I'm not good enough to do that thing. Like, they're very good at doing those things. And people are less good at taking responsibility. And the world, I mean, we live in a convenient world. Like, you know, we can pull our phone out and order food from a restaurant down the street. Like, we live in a very, well, I don't have to worry about that world, you know? And it takes a certain kind of individual to worry about where the world's going. And I kind of like, actually, it's a key indicator that I can, it's a key indicator of respect for me when someone's thinking about where the world's going. And because it's like, they're thinking about like where they are in a journey, and they're plotting the map, and they're looking at the field, and they're like, I'm like, oh, okay, what do you see? Oh, this is what I see. What do you see? You know, like, it's kind of interesting. It's like, that's a cool conversation to get into, you know, like.
Yeah, because I recently watched Wall-E again.
Yeah.
And
Little
it's
sippy
like
cup in your floating chair.
But it's baffling. So as a kid, like, it goes, and then now watching this over again, and how like more relevant it's getting, more and more people just completely just consumed by everything. At one point, that was when just TV was starting to become more and more prevalent, but now it's constant. Like,
yeah, I mean, what's people's
literally-
average phone use time's up to like 6.5 hours or something? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And if you take that from someone who's on a desk job as well,
Yeah.
there's another 8 hours
Yeah,
added
yeah.
to that
Yeah.
just to work.
And then, hold on, we'll turn the TV on to relax from those two. Some Netflix.
And then scroll with the TV on.
Yeah, but that's what gets me is the scrolling whilst the
Yeah, I
is
heard this
on.
thing the other day. I can't remember which Hollywood actor it was, but it was like I was feeding on the brain rot feed.
Yeah.
And and an actor was saying the script writers have to rewrite the scripts for second screen narrative,
Yeah.
which basically means dumb the script down enough so that someone who's scrolling on their phone can keep up.
Yeah, that's why you don't have complex plots like Inception or Interstellar anymore, because no one can conceptualize it anymore.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's just standard hero's journey films now. When
Yeah.
you've seen it, it's repeated. It's like, yeah, we can create a hero's journey.
Yeah.
Dude, this is really cool. Like, I think that's the most like accurate representation of where I think AI is going as well. That I've heard in this space. I really like that analogy. Have you thought of what is the solution, or what can people do to position themselves to take advantage of the new reality that we're living in?
I'm super aligned with you guys on this. You guys probably haven't named it the way that I talk about it, but to me, right now you live in the era of like the operator simulator, the Ready Player One, the Ready Player Done era, where you jump into you put it on the goggles of the machine, and you do something you couldn't do before, and you do it from start to finish. Like, I did this process. So I got a client. I won't talk too much about it because I'm under NDA, but I did in less than 12 hours. I did the work that would have taken 394 hours, and I know that number because I went and asked the AI. I'm like, if we got McKinsey & Co. and a team to do this, what would it take? It's like 394 hours and like 10 weeks for a team from McKinsey & Co., which is like, would have charged like 250, 300 grand for the kind of work that I did in under 12 hours. And I'd never done it before. That's the piece that's killer to me is I'd never done it before, but I know how to orient myself to something I haven't done before by using the A-player brain philosophy, driving my thoughts through that. And I know how to like kind of go through it's kind of like, you know, like you learn to drive a car and you can drive in different terrains. Like you know what it's like to drive on a road. You know what it's like to drive on a wet road. You know what it's like to drive on a gravel road. If you've done four-wheel driving, you know what it's like to drive like in some crazier conditions. And that to me is the journey that I wish I sort of cottoned on to from better at your age, which was, I didn't realize it until probably my late 30s, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, that I could just focus on getting better at orienting myself to what I'm doing versus trying to get better at what I'm doing. So it's like this meta model out where you get better at doing things for the first time. That's the skill set. Doing things for the first time, doing things with fresh eyes, doing things to comprehend, not to be the best. And doing things to comprehend is a different set of skills than doing things to be the best in your industry. Like being best in your industry is kind of like putting blinders on to like not learning other skills. Do you know what I mean? It's like focus. That's one way to focus. But to me, I'm like, okay, if I can only have one focus, then I want the focus, the hardcore diabolical focus of being able to learn new focuses. Yeah. What was the question? I don't know what the question was. But yeah, like to me, that's like, I think you guys are onto something massive with that. Like so there's something tremendous about what you're doing, which is you're getting people and you're going, right now, upskill. Like just jump in the driver's seat. You don't know which car you like. Like if careers are cars, right? You don't know which car you like until you've driven 20 different cars for 10 hours each. You just don't know. You don't know based on the handling. You don't know based on the looks you're going to get when you go down the street. You don't know until you know. And yeah, just like test drive a bunch as fast as possible.
Because you don't know the difference between a good car and a not so good car, because you don't have a comparative bar to compare it
You also
against.
don't know the difference between the quality of leaders, like bosses. Like you should have 5 or 10 bosses before you decide what type of boss you want. And then like actually one of the key things is like you're looking for a skill and you're looking for leadership. So you're looking for the quality of the skill, but you're also looking for the quality of the team you're going to work for. That's probably more important than the skill, like because you're going to move so much quicker at growing skills if you've got someone who has the capacity to believe in you and help you get past those sort of like obstacles you have internally where you think like, oh, I can't do that, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, you know? Yeah.
Or even just like teach you what the best way is. Because for me in my career, I basically scaled in my first company, learned. I ended up running that project. It was the biggest project that I had at the time. And went successful go live, it all went well. And then I sort of sat there and I was like, okay, well, because I was at the position where I was leading it, like, I don't know really what I'm doing. I've got to learn from myself now. I've got to learn through trial and error. Why would I want to do that when I can just go and like learn, like go join one of the best teams in Australia and learn from them?
The best people want to work with the best people.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best people want to work with the best people. Like I'm someone who I'm just like, I'm not interested in working with thousands of clients. I want a handful, and I just want to work with the best of the best that I can find, because it's so easy to be unprincipled and just rock up to work and just check in and check out, you know, like it's so easy to be unprincipled and do that. And it's so like, it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's very obvious to me. Like a lot of my early career, like, so I had those entrepreneurial journeys, and then real estate was the first sort of like, I guess, serious job I had, because I made serious money. Like I made like more money than a 19-year-old should. And I absolutely love that I did that career, not because I would ever want to be a real estate agent ever again, but because of the people skills. Like people skills are so violently underrated right now. Violently. And I mean violently, because it's like, we live in an era where we can send a DM or hide behind a, something, or we can just sit on a couch and talk to the people we're comfortable with, and we get to have this like air gap between us and a first time conversation that has some real like, like some tribalism in it. It's like, is this person going to like me? They're going to hate me? Are they going to like, I think we've kind of lost, I think what's underrated that I've noticed lately is people underrate the experience of being in the jungle of humanity and like having those first time experiences with other humans that are really raw, like going and saying hi to a stranger in an intentional, direct way. That's like cold approach, I think that's severely underrated. And like, I am actually one for like letting my life happen and things happen too. Like I'm not like all about force, but what's beautiful about that when you're younger is learning how strangers react in strange situations. Like I did insurance sales, life insurance sales for like 9 weeks. Couldn't handle it. We couldn't handle it because I followed the script worked, and I took home $8,000 a week. And it was very, very good. It was good money. And I couldn't do it because the script was essentially like, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And you're all sitting around the table and it's like, oh, yeah, compliment them on their family picture and do this and do that. This is the script. And then the script has, okay, so it's time for us to talk. It's lovely to have met your family. And I just want to ask, what I'm here to discuss today is like, basically, what if something really bad happens to one of the two of you? Like, what are you going to do? I couldn't do it. But I was really good at it because I just followed the script. I did it, taking home $8,000 a week. I think I was like 20, 21 at the time. I was like, yeah, this is sick money. And then I was like, no, I can't call the next person because I'm like going to walk into the house. And I think at the time I was like, and this is 22 years ago kind of thing. I walk into the house and it was just like 80% of the time it was done. And I was like, this person can't really afford $400 to $600 a month for this life insurance product, but they're going to spend it today. Anyway, I felt too guilty. I couldn't do it. But the experience of it was great. It was so good. Like
You learned a lot.
Meeting strangers, going into the houses, like doing the scary stuff. Like I have so much more situational awareness in the most boring situations now because I went into like kind of like psychologically dangerous situations, And I think that it's kind of like exposure therapy, exposure to what humanity is really like. People are so different, man. Like they're so different. I mean, people know this. Everyone like they can think of like a neighborhood that they grew up in. There was the different characters, like there was the alcoholic, there was the there was the crazy old lady who shouted at everyone. There was there's these archetypes, and I think, we live in super tight echo chambers. I was actually having this chat the other day with Rebecca Grogan on her pod. It's a really fascinating time in social media. We have like the oldies are like Facebook, kind of natives. The business corporates are like the professional crowd is like LinkedIn natives. And then, you've got this sort of like in between, grandma and grandpa and mum and dad having a Facebook account. Then there's this Instagram, millennials kind of like over there. And that below millennials, you just got Snapchat. Do you know what I mean? Like to a greater extent. And the one thing that we did touch on though that was really interesting is YouTube. All of them kind of seem to still watch YouTube as much, which is interesting. I'm like, that's an interesting note. Like something can be done with that. But we're all in silos. Yeah. Silos.
No one's integrating anymore. I think the lesson that we learned from our experience with people in their 20s is that they don't want to like get the skills and get the resources anymore.
Yeah.
Like learn and how like go through that time to actually build out the foundation to then allow them to succeed later on, which is really interesting.
It's just going to be harder later on. You're just delaying the pain.
Yeah.
Like you're delaying the pain, and like it's much easier. it's much easier to do some dirty reps in your 20s than it is in your 40s or 50s. Like dirty reps, it is the time for dirty reps. And by dirty reps, I mean just like do the shitty version of it.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be the best the first time you fuck. Like, like you're not going to be the best. Sorry, I don't know if we can swear. You're not going to be the best the first time though.
Yeah.
Like it takes experience and nuance and getting to know the situation and feel into your feelings about it, the other people's feelings about it, like all the stuff, right? Like you're just not going to be the best the first time. Like the first time you drive a car, you're going to clunk the gears. You're going to, like you're just going to be shit.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Like
well, you get an automatic now. It's just
yeah, and the way you get through it is by doing as much exposure as you can. Like, you could probably give a car to a race car driver who's driven a track and he's driven 100 times in his mind. You could probably put a blindfold on him, and he could probably feel every little crevice of the track and drive around the whole thing with a blindfold on. It's probably reasonably safe to do that, even though it sounds stupid. Like, but that's from time at wheel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the F1 drivers.
Yeah.
They can hear the sounds of the car and they can determine what track it is. From how long the straights are to when the turn is, when the braking points are, just hearing it, no visual whatsoever. And it's like they're 95% correct every single time.
That's pretty crazy.
It's insane.
And like, I think internally you have like kind of an interest economy internally. In our inner worlds, we have this interest economy. And it's like, where will I, like, if you think about it in like a 2x2, it's like create and consume and like good for me, bad for me, right? And so like on one spectrum, you got something that's good for me and it's consumption. That might be a podcast, like listening to this, right? On the other thing, it's like, consuming but bad for me. That's watching Black Mirror. Like whatever, right? Right. Like, and then on the creating side, you've got consuming bad for me. That's, dear diary, I'm shit at life. Like that's the internal negative self-talk, Yeah. I learned a cool thing on that. Put a pin in that for a second. And then good creating is like dirty reps actually fits in good creating because you're moving towards objectively being better.
Yeah.
On the negative self-talk thing, I learned this thing that Israeli Mossad, they're like special forces, do. They train their special forces that when they walk into a room and like a bomb goes off or whatever, the first thing they train them to do, and they've got to say it out loud, they have to say out loud, data received. And the reason they do this is to go, something changed, something happened. Before I process it, recognize that I got a packet of data.
Okay.
Before I start processing it. Just like give yourself just say like data received. And I've been doing this for a few weeks and I quite like it. I added the word thank you to the end of it just to kind of be grateful. Because I didn't want to be a total robot. Thank you. But like the idea is like if you find yourself like bagging on yourself, you're like, oh no, I'm never gonna get this job. I'm not like gonna pass this interview. I haven't got like my resume sucks or this, or like I'm not gonna hook up with that chick. I'm clearly like whatever the freaking thing is, right? The second you hear your head rattling that off, say data received inside your head. Data received. Oh, okay. Then start like and just like actually let there be silence. When your negative self-talk just like gets stopped in its track from you going, oh yeah, okay, cool. All right, data received, okay. And then just like sit there and then if it starts coming back in, again, just data received. It's actually fascinatingly good.
I'm just imagining you like sitting on the couch and your wife just sees you going, data received.
I've said some of the dumbest, nerdiest shit lately. Yeah. I'll come out of a session of like vibe coding or something, and like a teenage stepson said something to me recently, and I was just like, restate with less sarcasm and like in my head I'm still like prompting.
Maintain potency. Restate.
In my head I was still on the computer. was like, nope.
That doesn't work in real life. I wish.
I was just like, yeah, I have said a few things like that. Yeah. Yeah. And I've actually realized recently, like this is continuation of the nerdiness, but I basically realized an argument is just two LLMs that have different data sets. Like it's two little like neural networks that don't have the same set of data.
It's like the first time you learn code and you see the whole world as if statements for the first time in your life. And you're just like...
If that else, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like... I think there's... Look, I mean, I am... As much as I'm like deep in quite technical spaces, I am very bombastic and like, if then else for me, conceptually I've always got it, but practically it's only been in the last 5 or 6 years that I've really integrated it. And it's basically like decision trees. It's like, if this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do that. And I think that some people are process driven naturally. Like there was friends that I had at school that just, they went on to become accountants, spreadsheets with them. That was their brain. That's the way it worked. It was fine. Process for them, fine. And for some people, it's not how your brain works. And I think that's cool too, because one thing that most people don't recognize is that the knowledge that is codified is explicit. It's specific, and it might be abstract still, like people might write down metaphors and stuff, but it's been written down and it's been captured. And we probably haven't even captured 2 to 3% of all information. Like, we haven't even begun to capture information. People think like, oh, we've got all the information at our fingertips. No, we don't. Tacit knowledge is where probably 95% plus knowledge lives.
What's tacit knowledge?
Gut instincts, intuition, felt sense, sensitivities to things. The fact that you can like get a spidey sense, like that is where most of the information still lives. And it's in our senses, it's in our this is why I'm such like I'm like banging on my little tambourine over here, get exposure to like real life situations, because you learn situational sensitivities by being in situations that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Like, and ones that you do want to be in, and ones that are in between. Like, you learn from feeling the wheel and driving the car, and that's where most wisdom lives. Like, I've seen epic leaders just have a gut instinct, like, no, we shouldn't go that way. And I'm like, why? Like, it all makes sense. The deal makes sense. The partners, the offer. No, we should just pull the pin on this. And I've had these moments too. Like, I had a moment back in the crypto days. I was like, I had an instinct. I was like, I just need to like move this money from here to there. Just don't know why, just gonna do it. And it was a saving grace of, a couple $100,000. Like, that would have been a big punch to the face.
Yeah.
But it was an instinct. There was no, like, if I reverse engineer it and I go into it, I'm like, what happened? Well, I had a gut feeling, opened up my laptop, and I did the thing. That's the process. That's the if then else. But it's if have gut feeling, don't ignore it.
And then that's what I really love about your advice there, to go into those situations, is because people don't know necessarily when to trust their gut feeling, because they haven't had the experiences when they've had feelings like that before, and they've actually gone with it and then realized that was the case. Or they don't have enough first-hand knowledge themselves in order to back themselves with that certainty that, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, see, one of the things I've learned in recent times is the quickest way to figure out how to achieve something is to do the exact opposite, which is to figure out how to make it fail faster. And the thing is when you focus on failure modes, when you focus on what's going to destroy your career, then you can build a plan that doesn't touch any of those edges, right? It gives you a plan that's already 80% of the way there, because you use the principle of inversion and you just go, right, here's all the potholes. Let's not step in any of those. Okay, good plan, right? Like, it's already 80% better than everyone else's.
Yeah.
And the the principle of inversion's a funny one. I can't remember the Einstein quote, but basically he said, if I want to learn anything new, go figure out what's going to kill that thing, what's going to be the death of that thing, and the answer to what makes it thrive is the opposite of that, which is the inversion of it. So a lot of what I'm doing at the moment, whenever I build anything, I'll get a really cool, clear strategic plan together and put together a work breakdown schedule and be really clear on what it is I'm going to do. And then I'll be ready to go. And then I'll go, right, before I go, let's run a pre-mortem on this thing. What's going to be if we did all of these things, what would make the project still die? What would make it still, just be dead in the water? And then it points out all the flaws in your plan, which is really cool. And then you invert them, update your plan. And before you've even started, you've followed some of the best advice I ever got in my life. I had this in real estate. I met this dude. His name was Bruce Hunt. And he was this funny old dude. He was like 80s or something, 20 years ago. And he gave me the best life coaching advice in my life ever. I was having an argument over a commission with another agent in the office. This happens in real estate, where you're like, no, it was my listing, it was my buyer, like whatever. Anyway, and he pulled me aside and he goes, Rosco, look, sometimes in life, it's just best to like walk around the dog shit, not step in it. And what he was saying to me was like, just like, don't get into that. It's not worth it. Yeah. You know, like don't get into that thing. And running a pre-mortem or figuring out what's going to break before you do something shows you where all the dog shit is, so you don't step in it. Really does. It's just like, here you go. Here's all the things that are going to break. Yeah.
That's a really good approach to risk management as well, because everybody tries to predict what could happen, but instead just say everything that's going to go wrong, and from there build your plan around. Yeah.
I mean,
avoid those landmines.
Yeah, totally. And then there's different stakeholders who have different landmines. So there's your landmines. Like if you're a consultant working on a job for a client, there's your landmines. There's the client's landmines, and then there's clients, or the client's customers. You know, and then there's regulatory landmines. There's all sorts of landmines. You'll find lots through the game of life. Yeah. But yeah, look, I mean, I think right now is the best time to just speed run any new skill. Just speed run 20 skills in the next 2 years and just go, right, pick 20 skills you want to learn, speed run those things, and just like build something or sell something or work for someone or do a part-time gig or do a contract gig or whatever, and speed run as many skills as you can right now, because the person who comprehends we're going into an age of complexity. It's going to feel more simple because you're going to be able to go, you know, hey Siri, figure out how to buy me a Porsche next week, and some robot will go figure something out, right? So that's going to be simple. But what's behind that is increasingly complex to make that outcome happen. Like the reason that you might have built yourself a system where you can just tell your business to go make you enough money to buy your Porsche next week through a voice command is an obscenely ridiculous idea, but it's plausible. If you dive into the complexity it takes to construct a business where you have 1,000 robot employees doing a bunch of work for you. Yeah.
How do you get those robot employees to work holistically? When you've got all the
so with leadership, orchestration, coordination.
Yeah.
I think the best way to learn about this is to do something basic first in it. If I was going to try and speed run a bunch of skills to get up on orchestrating and coordinating, I would look at things like simple leadership systems that have existed for a long time. So there's some good ones like EOS, which was written by Gino Wickman. That's they do a weekly meeting format that's called a level 10, and then they do a quarterly meeting format, which is goals and rocks and stuff like that. But the level 10 meeting is basically a little bit of chatting about KPIs and are we on track or off track for our rocks, and then what's the issues the business has right now. And then you spend 60 minutes solving actual problems each week, and then you go away and solve them. Another really good one I like EOS. It's probably a little bit more complex, so probably would say OKRs is probably a better place to start, which is Measure What Matters is the name of the book. But OKRs is objective and key results. It's the goal setting system that they use inside Google and Apple and stuff like that. I don't know if it's Apple. It was Google and Intel or someone. Anyway, but it stands for objectives and key results. So basically, at Google, they'd go, right, in the next quarter, in the next 3 months, what's the 2 to 3 objectives for the whole organization? Yeah. And they go, right, we want to break into AI, we want to, dominate on AEO, like search, and we want to, do something new with, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so they have these objectives, and then they'd have 2 or 3 key results, which are basically what are the KPIs for that goal. So they put the goal separate from the KPI for the goal is what an OKR. It's like an objective and the key results. And then what happens is the team, like the company sets an OKR, or the leadership team, the executive team, and then that gets sent out into all the departments. So you think about this, head office says, okay, our objective is to increase, like to open in a new market. We're going to open in America and start selling products in America. And the key result is we'll have 3% market penetration in the next 90 days. Then that objective and key results gets handed down to the marketing team and the sales team. And then they have to come up with their own objective and their own key result to help serve the greater objective and key result. So what you have is you have like a team goal, and then you have sub-teams have a goal to help achieve the team goal. And then even team members have their own individual OKRs as well. So what you're thinking about is coordinating a set of goals. And if you think about it, like I coached my son's 10-year-old soccer team this last year. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done. It was so much fun. Like for me, I got so much out of it. Because I knew for them, it was just time on ball. Like, there was definitely kids who were stronger soccer players and the kids who were less strong soccer players. But it was just time on ball and one other thing, not talking to themselves like shit. If they could spend more time on ball and not beat themselves up for when they missed a goal or whatever, they got way better. And so that was basically my theory. I got in, they were second from the bottom of the ladder. And within 5 games, we beat the best team in the league. So I was like, yeah, I'm Ted Lasso. And then the next week, it was a terrible game. Like it was like, whatever. Anyway, but the point is you've got all these people, and in a soccer team, you've got, a handful of kids on the field, and their goal is I want to get the goal and I want to score. Like a 10-year-old is like, I want to score.
It's just white line fever.
And it's me. I want to score. I'm on a team, but like, how do I cross that barrier, Yeah. And there was one other rule I had, which was for them, which is whoever has the ball is the captain. So it was about trusting their teammate. Yeah. Because I got there, they didn't even know each other's name. So the first thing we had was a passing drill where they had to shout the other person's name before they passed the ball. But this is leadership stuff, right? This is like thinking through what's that individual kid's goal? Well, his goal is to be better at the game, to score a goal, and he wants to win. Like he actually cares about the team winning more than himself scoring a goal. But the only thing he can think about the second the ball goes between his legs is put it in the goal. So that's why objectives and key results are really good, actually, because you acknowledge that individual kid has his goal to win and he can create a measure that he can win himself. But then you're coordinating these goals and you're looking at and so like if you articulate the goals from like organization and then sub-teams and then team members, and they all have their own goals, then basically coordination is looking at, do those goals work together? Is there a conflict between these goals? If these goals were to all be achieved, would we get what we want? If they're only partially achieved, would we still get what we want? Like looking at them through a whole bunch of lenses. And coordination is this is going to sound so freaking hippie and dumb and retarded, but I'm going to say it. You can probably learn about coordination by doing things like OKRs and stuff like that, and going through this like dissonance of like looking at it and getting confused by it and all that sort of stuff. You can learn that really well. The other thing you can do, I would do that, and I would do this. Sit on the grass and stare at an ant's nest and just watch those fuckers work. And like, I mean, when I say watch them, I don't mean like for an Insta reel in length. I mean for like a Joe Rogan episode. Sit there for 3 hours. Sit your ass down. Don't move. Just watch the ants. And the reason I say this, it sounds kind of stupid, but there's more information in the stillness in between actions than there is in the actions themselves. Because the way someone orients themselves, the way someone pushes themselves to do something versus the actual doing it, gives you much more leadership leverage than the correcting their actions. Like micromanagers micromanage people's actions because they're the only things they can see. But if you slow down enough, you can see what drives people. You can get really good at observing it, and you can get probabilistically, you can get very damn close to being right most of the time about what is driving people in the situation. Of course, you would never project that onto them. You'd always ask them, "Hey, I observed this. I thought you were maybe feeling this way. Is that right? Like, or what's going on?" Let them tell you what's going on, but point the question to give them space to answer it. But yeah, to me, leadership is, it's OKRs and it's business systems and it's AI and it's all these like coordination and orchestration and end-to-end automations and all that stuff. But it's also sit your ass down and watch ants. Like, it's learn how to observe. And observation comes from slowing down, not from going faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm very good at that.
The slowing down?
No, just observing random shit.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, I've done that before. I've stared at an ant's nest. Not for what Joe Rogan's like 3 hours, two and a half, 3 hours. Done it for a good 20 minutes. I was just like,
something happens at about 75, 80 minutes.
I know
Something happens.
He's totally gonna go out.
Something happens. Something happens. No, something happens. I don't know what it is. It's almost at like 20 minutes, like you've got all the data, you've seen it all. And you've seen all the data, you've watched it all, but you're still only using your head to see it. And you sit there for another 40 minutes and your head got so bored and so empty of it, you start to have observations that are more like gut instinct. Like, it goes different levels. Yeah. Because there's actually this really cool thing that I heard from this monk someplace somewhere. If you have a big decision to make fast, like for like 3 days, like a big decision, like a big life decision, like do I get married? Do I break up with this chick? Like that kind of level decision, fast for 3 days. And the reason is like, when you have a full belly, you have a hungry mind, because your belly has fueled your brain to go and be hungry. And so like, empty out your body, empty out everything, and to the point of where your mind is only thinking about one thing, which is probably eating. And it's empty, and it's not, your mind's not hungry because it's not fueled, like the same. And you can like actually sit in the stillness and make a real decision. Anyway, we're off in the weeds with the ants over here. I feel like we lost someone who was listening to the podcast in that little chat. For those of you who stayed, thanks.
Like, ants, like one of the things that I've seen recently, and kind of what led me to really connect with what you said, is words are just a form of like manipulation and brainwashing. The words that you use, because it's associated to different sounds to make us think certain ways.
Yep.
This is just what I believe, is those gut feelings, the gut instinct, that's a form of telecommunication or telekinesis that
for sure
nobody actually talks about.
Yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think we have all sorts of senses that have been like deprioritized because they don't work well in a society. Like for you to, if you have a premonition and you run down to the middle of a pack fair in the square and go, he ye, like this is about to happen, like People are going to go, what the heck? Where's the camera? Are they doing a reel?
Is this a prank?
So that's kind of been like some of these skills are innately not welcome in society. They're a little bit not welcome, but I think for me, I mean, I'm at heart always going to be a tripper, so I'm down with that. Like, I'm like, like I have a friend of mine, Jeffrey Slater, used to always say, like, I feel like I'm going sane in an insane world, and you got your own little, way in which you orient yourself to reality. And I mean, like language is a bunch of stories that you tell yourself to keep this little identity together. So our bio on LinkedIn is perfect. Now this is right. Now that is right. And you can look in the mirror and be happy with yourself. Like, yeah. I mean, English is a really bad compression of language too. Like in so many different languages, there's so many different more words for things. Like I think it's like Latin. There's like 7 different types of love, 6 or 7 different types of love. Whereas we have the word love. They have like love of friends. They have like an intimacy love. They have all these different loves. Do you know what I mean? Like they have ways to actually explain things and articulate things. So yeah, like even English is a bad compression versus other languages that can express different things for sure.
Or like a lot of languages, they have like a formal and an informal version of things. And you got to change the inflections just to show who you'd be talking to, whether it's someone who is of a high caliber of respect. And those who are just someone who is Joe Blow from the street.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
What should people be focusing on who are in their 20s? You said focus on the first 5 skills, but is there anything in particular that they should go out and collect first, or how would they go and get those 5 skills?
If you do the scariest thing first, it's only going to get easier. So like if you're terrified of like talking to strangers, go door knock and do sales. Like it's going to give you the most growth the fastest. And if you want slow growth, then do the thing that feels most comfortable. And I'm not saying like, I'm saying I really believe that in the younger years, the social risk is the one to take. So an example of social risk is, say I'm sitting there and I've watched 10,000 hours of YouTube videos of people doing crazy businesses, like just picking up free furniture on Facebook Marketplace, getting a bunch of mates together, getting a few trucks, and then going and selling it and building a whole business, a 7-figure business out of that. And they have the tinkering to do it, but they don't want to take the social risk because they don't want to put themselves out there as a trash collector. They don't want their mates to see that, like you're a dumpster fire waiting to happen. They don't want to be the train wreck. Those are the risks to take. Do the hard thing first. Do the scary thing. Do the high social risk thing first. You'll get more growth out of it. And if you don't want to, then like write a list of most social risks to least social risks and go as high up that scale as you can, as high as you comfortably can. And if you can only get to a 6 out of 10, then do the 6 out of 10, then push yourself to do the 8 out of 10 next time. But like work your way up through those risks. Look, I mean, I went bankrupt when I was 26 and put in the forms to the government, had the official bankruptcy, and no one knew. Like I'm telling you guys now, but no one knew. Like it's a private form between you and and the government and the banks. And NAB, who was my bank at the time for like the property loans I had, they weren't going to go, oh, Rosco is a bankrupt person, and the government's not going to go like dob on the hundreds of thousands of people who go bankrupt every year. Yeah. Like they're not going to do it. I'm not saying you should take financial risks though. Like I'm saying I went bankrupt. I probably took more financial risks than I should have. My desire around that, if I had like a magic wand and time over, and I don't have any resentments to it, but like if I had my time over on it, I would have made myself prove the financial return with less risk. And I would have actually lowered the financial risk, increased the need for me to have proof on the return faster. Because I've had huge windfalls and just like I have a good lifestyle and good income and stuff like that. Like it's not shit, and I'm a digital nomad and I'm traveling the world and having fun all the time and whatever, and eat in Michelin star restaurants all the time. Like I have a good life, and like, I would probably have about an extra 30 to 40 mil if I heeded a little bit more proof of concept on financial risks to myself. But social risks, I don't think people take enough. I really don't think people take enough of them. Like, be the crazy one. Like, be crazy. Like, to your psyche, like, to the point of where you're like, shit, was that too far? And I think the thing is no one knows what the right amount of social risk is to take until they overstep. And so, you know, when I say take the social risk, you know, if you overstep, do pull your foot back off the edge of the cliff. Don't like keep walking off the cliff, but like find the edge, find your edge, like push your edge.
You have to paint outside the lines in order to find the
yeah,
line.
yeah. You got to find it. Like, cause I think that's what this phase is. I think like if we were to call it some sort of like strategic management term, you're in the discovery phase. You know, like that's what the phase you're in. Like you're literally discovering like, what are my skills? Who am I? How am I going to show up best? What's the best version of me through this model of the world with the people I'm going to be hanging out with? You're in discovery mode. Like you don't know shit about shit. Like I thought I knew shit when I was younger. And I was like, okay, so rewind the tape. I was 16 at high school. Computer networks weren't a thing until like I was 16. Like literally it was like they were installing like the Cat5 cable and like a Novell network and like PCs on the desk that year. That was like the first year they were putting it in the high school. And the two IT guys at the high school, like I was at a well-to-do private school, the two IT guys couldn't install it. They couldn't figure it out. I'm like, oh, it's all good. You just do this. I had no idea what I was doing, by the way. It just worked. Like, ah. And yeah, you just got to like do shit and see what you can do. Like I still like, I went and did like qualifications and stuff around like networking and stuff. And I couldn't log into a Novell administrator panel right now and do anything. Like, well, I mean, I could if I put an A player brain over the top of it, I could easily do it, but like I wouldn't remember anything, you know, like I just did it, you know, and I found out what I was good at and all those kind of things. But I'm saying this to say, like, you don't know what you're good at until you just like try it and then notice that you're good at it. And you can only notice that you're good at something after trying it. You can't notice that you're good at it before trying it. You can't. You can like project and think, oh, I'm going to be good at this. I'm going to be shit at this. Data received. Like,
yeah. Just explore, especially in your 20s. Like you have nothing else to lose.
Yeah, get yourself in some weird situations.
Yeah.
You'll have some war stories for your 30s. It's fun. Yeah.
What happens? Some war stories there. What happens after that? Like after you've found your thing, I guess it's just going that next level deeper, utilizing AI to fast track and speed up that process with your skills, or like what happens after you?
I mean, I think it's a journey. Like skills development is a journey of, you know, science almost. Like it's like, okay, run a little experiment. Did I get better or worse? You know, objectively, what's happening? As you get older, it's more about going towards art. So I think 20s and 30s is mastering the science. Late 30s is starting to move towards the art of what you've developed skills-wise. And then definitely 40s, 50s is like, it should be the renaissance of your career. It should be like I'm expressing these skills in all these phantasmagorical ways. And so I think it is, you are actually like, you are like, I think everyone ends up an artist. Like even the best scientists in the world, they end up an artist through their art form of the way they achieve that. But I think, I think you got to do things clunky and crummy, and you know, you got to do a finger painting before you can do the Sistine Chapel. You know, like you just got to play. Yeah. Can you imagine like if Michelangelo never like just picked up a marker and did the first stroke?
Well, that's insane, because I recently, last week, I was reading 10x is better than 2x.
Yep.
And it's literally the beginning, like, let's say monologue or the intro to that. And I was like, whoa, You don't even think about that. Like with Michelangelo, he didn't start out with the Sistine Chapel.
No.
He starts out just doing a sculpture of a very high level person.
Yep.
From there builds up the credibility, takes the risk, and does David before the big battle. From there, it's just compiling all that. You slowly building up, then you build your credibility, then you get the opportunity to build the Sistine Chapel, to paint the Sistine Chapel on top of the roof, and you're just like, well, how the fuck am I going to do that? You just got to figure it out, and you trust in your current skill set and what you can do, and the future skills that you're going to develop as you do build upon this.
We used the gaming metaphor earlier. You know, when you play games with levels or whatever. Sometimes you play games with levels and you're playing the game and you're just sitting there and going, yeah, I rock at this game. And then you get to a boss and you're like, shit, I'm stuck on this level. I've played it like 20 times. What the heck? You know, huge roadblock. And sometimes that's because you ran a little bit too fast through the earlier stages and you didn't develop all the skills were in all the stages. And that's only clear in hindsight when you pass the boss at level 20 or whatever, and you're like, damn it, it was so obvious, you know, like it was just like, I forgot to move the candlestick behind the bookshelf, like whatever the thing was, you know, like it's just that, like, but when you hit those roadblocks, which invariably everyone will, and I think being 20-ish is the internal roadblock. It's the first boss of getting over caring what other people think. And that part of you that you bump up against over and over and over again in that time it's trying to keep you safe, but safe doesn't exist. Safety is not actually a thing. It's not a tangible thing. No one can point to safety. It doesn't exist anywhere. It's a state. It's not a thing. And your body tries to treat it like a thing in your 20s. Like it tries to go, oh, my bio must say this, and my this must be this, and I must shake someone's hand firmly, and I must say this to say hello, and I'm like, it's a whole series of musts, which to me, a to-do list is basically a list of self-criticisms that haven't happened yet. And that's the kind of pressure that you put on yourself when you're like trying to like push the social bounds. And it's like, actually, if you let all of those things go and just show up as yourself, show up as the geek that you are with your brother when you were like running around on Halloween one night as kids. Like, show up as that fucker. Like, that person is the right person to take to the meeting sometimes. Just curiosity and awe and like looking at it through eyes of wonder and going, oh, what can we do here? That's so much better than like, oh, did I do things right to get here today? You know, like, yeah, I think my wish is that don't just grow yourself up from 20 to 30, grow the 5-year-old up from 5 to like 5.5 over the next 10 years. Don't try and grow it too much quicker. Like, keep that childlike curiosity, keep that spark, because I see a lot of people get to 30 and they've like stuffed down the spark. Like just run big black marker over all of the cool traits that they had. And then they spend I've seen a lot of people from 30 to 40 spend 10 years lost because they tried to pretend that they're not those things. And I think that's like danger zone. But yeah, like, I mean, good business chat at this point in time. But yeah, look, just like, yeah, you probably did something when you were younger that's like your parents or people around you went, oh, he's really good at that. You know, he's naturally talented here, or he's like, she's like phenomenal at this, or like you can just see she's in the zone when she's doing blah, or that's the person you're actually nurturing right now, is that kid. You're not actually nurturing like this like
person you think you are.
Yeah, and it's all. And the reason I say you're nurturing that kid is because ultimately you're still going to have inner child stuff when you're 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and 70. Like, you're still going to be operating off the programming you got when you were a little kid, you know? So better to take that kid along for the journey than leave them behind.
What did you do with your kids to program them the best way you could?
Rewrite, no. Oh, my daughter, less sassy, no.
If you find the code, let me know.
Reframe.
No, look, I mean, parenting's quite a journey. I've got 2 stepkids. I've got an older son who's a teenager who hasn't talked to me for over a year, so that's kind of heavy and whatever. I won't brush it off like that, but I'll come back to it in a sec. And then my 2 younger ones, which, I've probably spent the most time parenting in my life. I think the thing is like, parenting is this for me, is you're trying to help the person be the best version of themselves. And the thing that actually scared my son away from me in the conversations that we had, I mean, I won't go into the dynamic with his mum because I'll just leave that out of this audio, but we don't get on. And I was trying to call my son forward to get over some of this social inertia, like to get over some of this stuff. He was too confronted by it. Like, to do the hard thing for him was some sort of like soul level death. And he's going to avoid it for 10 plus years right now. And I know I'm going to get a call in his late 20s, early 30s, and it's going to be like, whatever the rejoining process is, and for whatever reason, and he's going to avoid it for 10 years. And it's very obvious the people who are going to avoid it, like becoming who they could be in their fullest expression. And I didn't want that for him. So I was like, dude, you need to like step up. You need to face this stuff. Like, and it's scared him away. But yeah, I think that's good though too. Like, I actually kind of love that that's the story between him and I right now, because I'm still parenting him, even though I'm not, like, we're not even talking to him. I'm like holding this space for him. So yeah, it's kind of fun. But my little kids, I got to say, I treat them like adults, have since the day they were born. Like, and that's why my elder son was kind of like, the culture at our home was like, there's no kids here. We're all just like at the stage we're at, and we're developing the skills we're developing, and we're facing the thing we're facing emotionally. We're doing the things we need to do, and we're just moving through them and forward. And that's scary to someone who is in a bubble, like who's not doing that. Yeah, for sure.
I'm so not ready to become a parent.
No one ever is. No one ever is ready to become a parent. I think I don't want any grandbabies right now, but I'm super excited to be a grandparent over a parent. Like, not like that. I love my babies, but yeah, it's a very different lens. I think I saw this interesting. This is sort of like coming back around to business for a sec. I saw this founder who sold his company Loom, like the screen recording tech.
Yeah.
He sold it to Atlassian, and he did a tweet. This was a couple of months ago. He did a tweet going like, I don't know what's wrong. I've been moping around the house. I sold my company a few months ago. I've made more money than I've ever made in my life. I've been, drunk for a month. I'm bored. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And Naval Ravikant, who's the billionaire who owns AngelList, I've had a couple of chats with him. Super smart dude. Sure. He said under the tweet, he just said, kids, mission, or God, choose one.
Ooh.
And I think for me, it's mission. Like, I love my kids and I absolutely adore them, and I will do everything in the world for them. And like, mission's my thing. Like, I want to build shit, play, have fun, do that. And for some people, parenting is their whole existence, and I think that someone can be someone who puts mission above all else and still be a good parent. Maybe not through everyone's lenses, but can still be a good parent. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's as big a trade-off as people think it is. Yeah. But yeah, mission, kids, or God, that was an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah. Mission's an interesting one. I have this weird question, just because we've been so normal on this pod. This is like your ordinary episode.
I knocked over my water. Whoops. Okay. Yep. No, we're good.
Okay. There was this question that I got taught by a guy called Dr. Andrew Harvey. So Andrew Harvey was like a religious scholar who is on like the UN Spiritual Council. And so he had this question. And I asked myself this question every single day for, it would have been 6 or 7 months. I used to live down at Rainbow Bay near Cooley and walk around the headland, and I'd ask myself on that trail every single day, of all the forces and things going on out there in the world, which of them breaks my heart the most? And the purpose of the question is to find what you have fire in the belly for. It's a mission question. It's to help you find out your mission. And so I asked it every single day for, a little over 6 months. And the answer to me basically boiled down to people just disrespecting their potential. In so many ways, so many different versions of it. I could see that in, people around me. I could see it at an industry level. I could see experts who are kind of expert-ish, not quite the best they could be. I saw it everywhere. I was like, and that was the thing that kind of fired in my belly. And literally, A-player brains, it's an obvious progression of that. It's how can I get people to be more of their potential? Literally makes sense. But yeah, I spent over 6 months asking that question. Super good question. And your brain goes all sorts of strange places when you ask the question and actually listen to the answers inside of you. You go all sorts of weird places, but you notice the theme. You notice the pattern when you ask it long enough.
Yep.
I think it's a super good question for people in their 20s. I wish I'd done it sooner, it was super good.
So what question do you find yourself asking yourself the most
now?
Yeah.
In the 40s, I haven't had a practice question like that, because that was very practice. It was very methodical. It was very much intentional to ask that question every single day. The types of things that are in inquiry for me constantly right now, I have this thing, I have a document I've written for myself called my North Star, which is just where am I heading, and it's got some big, hairy, scary sort of goal kind of stuff on it. And what I want to participate in is regenerative capitalism, which basically means don't listen to the word regenerative, because it's kind of been greenwashed to hell. Yeah. It's not the right word, but I want to build a form of capitalism where it's win 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 all the way down, and there's no trade-offs. And so I'm consciously trying to run experiments to achieve that. And so what that looks like or means is that it's positive for the people doing business, for the people around them, for the wider community, all that kind of stuff. I don't give a shit about climate change narratives or all those kind of things. I just want to do it because it's cool to try and stack the deck in such a way where it's so good for everyone who's surrounding it. It's just fun to have a complex challenge. And so I think we should be able to, I don't think capitalism is the perfect model. I definitely don't think communism or socialism is even anywhere near good, but I do know there's problems with capitalism. There's problems with it. And the problems mostly are that it's extractive, and that that extractive is zero sum. It's I dig a hole, I take the rock out of the hole, I go sell the rock to someone, the rock's gone, and the money transacted, right? Whereas, regenerative is not the right word. It's probably more generative. I'm how can we make 5 rocks, and make the rock bed, make the ground better at the same time as selling rocks and whatever with all the things. Yeah. And I saw this the first time I saw this, I saw it in a farming methodology called syntropic agroforestry by a guy called Ernst Gosch. And he'd gone in and grabbed 600 acres of desert in South America, and he regenerated it from scratch. But in 7 years, he had a forest on there. 0 to 7 years, forest on a desert.
Yeah, yeah.
And because what he did was he looked at the ecosystem. And this is leadership. This is why I love staring at ants and doing stuff like that, because he noticed the ecosystem, and then he was okay, we have these different levels. We have these things called placenta, and then these different waves of plants that come in at different phases in the jungle. And it takes nature 10 years to grow that tree, and then that tree dies, and then the next tree in the cycle comes up. And he realized if he got out there with a machete and started chopping them down faster, he could help nature go through its cycle faster. So it's fully all organic and no inputs, just like bananas would shoot up, and then, for example, like bananas, you can only have like a few stalks on them. You can't let them go to 20, otherwise they just stop producing fruit. But he's like, okay, so well, when that one's produced fruit, we chop that down, and then we chop the banana trunk up into like, and put it down on the ground and turn it into soil, and just make the whole system go faster by participating with it. It's like intense coordination with a very complex system, but you can build a forest you can build the start of a forest in 7 years. You can build the entire forest in 21 years of what would take nature 300 years to do on its own. So I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. Like, how can we coordinate complex things to go faster and build more asset to sell more asset? Not just like generative capitalism where the ecosystem's getting better, more carbon's being captured. All the things are positive about that situation. That hasn't been doable before because no one wants to work hard. But now we're coming into like the time of robots and AI. I'm like, oh, like it's doable. Like my vision's like I retire, I'm 85, sitting on the balcony. I'm like, it won't be a phone because that would be so antiquated, but I'll be sitting there playing like my version of Farmville, and it's actually happening out there. You know, I'm just like, beep, 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 beep. You know, like Farmville in real life. Like,
crops up with it.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit. Let me go get a brain to fix that. We need to make sure that never happens again.
Yep.
All right, Rosco. This has been epic. It's been so much fun. Who in your network would you like to see next on the podcast?
What have you had so far? Like, what has the audience had so far? What have they not had?
We've had a decent amount on leadership, some AI stuff.
Okay. I think you need someone like sales, or something social, super social, like
Social, yeah.
Yeah, like something pushing the boundaries.
Because we had Tuckwood, Ryan Tuckwood, and then
that's good. He's got good foundational skills. Great stuff.
And then we had another person who's running a remote closing community.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So you've had a bit of that.
Bit of sales.
You know what? I'd probably I don't know, I've got a few ideas. You want names? Is that what you want?
You can name them or just some ideas and what you'd...
I would do something that, okay, so I'm thinking of one person. I work with this guy called Atlas Talisman. He actually worked for me in the crypto startup I had in Vietnam, but he was like a community manager. And his background is actually theater.
Okay.
And he does this thing, he has this model of reality where he sees the world as a jungle where people are following all these rules, but the rules don't actually exist. So I'll tell you an example of Atlas. I was walking with him one day. We were going for a walk along the river in a very suburban area in northern New South Wales. And we're walking down the river, and he sees this old lady sitting on her porch, and he did this thing which he calls chaos clowning, which is he saw a little flower on the ground, he picked it up, he walked over, put it on her driveway, and then walked away. And she kind of walked off her porch all angry that someone had put a flower on her driveway. And then she walked down to pick it up, and then she realized it was a flower, and she had to deal with herself being a grumpy old bitch in that moment. Which is such a fascinating and weird dynamic, right? He likes pushing people's reality in weird ways, really weird ways like that. I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's when sometimes, if somebody crashes into somebody, and then you get out, and then someone's about to get really angry, and then the first thing they say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's okay." And
we're both human.
You go from "Oh, I'm about to kill you" to and the first words are, "Are you all right? I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And then immediate it's just a reframe of the whole situation. Be like, okay, cool.
So he has this really cool idea, which is basically this thing called Vicarian, which he wants to build this app where you have these vicarious experiences. So he basically wants to you know how you can call an Uber right now? He wants to make it that you can call a Vicarian. So it would be a human being with like a GoPro strapped to their chest, an earphone in, and AR goggles on, and you could tell the human what to do. You could play him like in Grand Theft Auto. That's literally what he wants to do. But those players are like actors. They're doing shit at the behest of someone else at the other end of this machine. Crazy, dude, right? Crazy. But yeah, look, I think that is a very plausible startup idea in the next 10 to 20 years in the world. Like, that's the crazy world we're going into. It's fun stuff like that. And I think right now is the time, like, I think the next 10 to 20 years is the times of the ideas, guys or girls. Like, you can have a crazy ass idea and pierce reality in new ways. Like, I think there's some really mind-bending stuff. That kind of stuff. The other thing, probably the most boring podcast you should do as well, which is not that one, is you should just like talk to people about business process, talk to them about if then else, talk to people who are really good at codifying things. Yeah. It's so fucking boring. Like, I don't know, maybe you should get your audience to like smoke a joint where they listen to those ones or something, make it more fun. But like, I don't know, it's so boring. I've listened to like hundreds of hours of like process stuff, and I'm like, I remember listening to this one process management training once, and it was like, I'd bought this course, it was like 8 hours, $90 or whatever. And the whole video is talking in a monotonous tone, and it's like this. And then the one thing that happens, this is like 7 hours in. There's a deer at my window. He's eating my plant whilst I'm recording the recording. Oh, well. Back to monotonous tone. That was the whole thing was so boring. But so valuable. Learning system stuff is super valuable. It's so boring though. So boring. That was the funniest thing in an 8-hour recording.
It's the kind of thing where I'll just like be on autopilot.
That's the only thing I remember from that training.
I was gonna say, You're on autopilot and you're like, oh no. It appears that a swan is in the water. And it is flying towards my face. Oh well, I'm about to close the door now. Anyways.
Yeah.
Back to zero. This is how you...
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's so much value in it. And I think being bored is actually a superpower. Like sitting and looking at ants for a couple of hours, listening to business process stuff, super good for you. Like really good. It's kind of like, it's yucky tasting medicine sometimes, but it's worth it. Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. So actually what I just said to you is process and theater. Yeah. Like I would, if I was you guys, I'd be getting some like people who are really good at like improv and shit in here. Like, I think they're the two skills you actually need as a human to like navigate a lot of the world is improvisation, adaptability skills, and process skills. The two ends of a spectrum, but they're really stable when you put them together. Going too far into improv, you just like become, I don't know, Jim Carrey or something. And then going too far into process, you become boring. Yeah.
The deer story.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's been fun, guys.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Where can the people at home find you?
On the interwebs. Dial 0. No. Rosco.co. ROSSCO.co. Rosco.co.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all links to stuff there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun. Rosco Paddison, everybody.
Love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
That was a lot of fun.